Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another Magic the Gathering EDH deck tech. Today I am featuring Aragorn the Uniter. He is a 1 red, 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue, 5/5 human noble legendary creature, and he got a lot of text on him, so let's go for it. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. So he synergizes very well with a lot of multicolored spells, and today we are playing him as a human tribal deck. We are going to win by generating a lot of value with Aragorn the Uniter, and then we will just flood the board with a lot of tokens and swing for the win. First of all, with Eowyn Shield Maiden, she is a 5 mana human knight 5/4 first strike legendary creature and says at the beginning of combat on your turn, if another human entered the battlefield under your control this turn, create 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then, if you control 6 or more humans, draw a card. Not only a cool token generator, but also a card draw engine. Theoden, King of Rohan, 3 mana 2/3, says whenever Theoden, King of Rohan or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. We will have a lot of creature ETBs, so he will give a lot of creatures double strike. Zurok Dragonclaw, 5 mana 6/6 flash. This spell can't be countered. Creature spells you control can't be countered. Other creatures you control have trample. There is a lot on this one and he is great for this deck. Aragorn, King of Gondor, 4 mana 4/4 Vigilance lifelink. When Aragorn, King of Gondor enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. Whenever Aragorn attacks, up to 1 target creature can't block this turn. If you're the monarch, creatures can't block this turn. I don't have to describe how powerful this is. Adeline, Resplendent Cathar, 3 mana 0/4 Vigilance. Adeline Resplendent Cathar's power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker that player controls. And another way to make our creatures unblockable is Champion of Lambhold, 3 mana 1/1. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambhold's power can't block creatures you control. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Champion of Lambhold. Not only is this going to be a huge creature, but it will also enable us a great swing without being blocked. So how are we going to flood the board with a lot of human creature tokens? We are going to play Faramir, Prince of Ithilien, 4 mana 3/3. At the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of that player's next end step, you draw a card if they didn't attack you that turn. Otherwise, create 3 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. Or also the other version, Faramir, Steward of Gondor, 3 mana 2/2. Whenever a legendary creature with mana value 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your end step, if you're the monarch, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. Hero of Prescient 1 is great in this deck. 2 mana 2/2. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Horn of Gondor, also really powerful, 3 mana legendary artifact. When Horn of Gondor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. For 3 mana and tap it, create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. One of my personal favorite cards, Mondrag, Glory Dominos, 4 mana 4/4. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So a nice multiplier for your creature token generators. And for 1 generic and 2 Phyrexian white mana, sacrifice 2 other artifacts and or creatures, put an indestructible counter on Mondrag, Glory Dominos. You can also play Parallel Lives or other cards, but Doubling Season is definitely the banger in this one. 5 mana enchantment. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. If an effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent you control, it puts twice that many of those counters on that permanent instead. All of these humans will need some nice Anthem effects, so we are starting off with Flowering of the White Tree, 2 mana legendary enchantment. Legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have Ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. Vanquisher's Banner, 5 mana artifact. As Vanquisher's Banner enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. We definitely need some more multicolored spells, so we go with Broker's Ascendancy, 3 mana enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. Rising of the Day, 3 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. Timur Ascendancy, 3 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. And for the last Ascendancy, Jeskai Ascendancy. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. And another great Anthem effect in my opinion, Shared Animosity. 3 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking creature that shares the creature type with it. You want to add some more Overrun effects? Just add Craterhoof Behemoth, 8 mana 5/5 haste. When Craterhoof Behemoth enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. This is great with the amount of 1/1 soldiers that we are about to create, just as Overwhelming Stampede. You have Aragorn on the field, it's a simple +5/+5 and trample until end of turn. Or you could also play Triumph of the Hordes, 4 mana sorcery until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and infect. You are in 4 different colors, so you can play the best protection spells you can find. Heroic Intervention, 2 mana instant, permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Teferi's Protection, 3 mana instant, until your next turn your life total can't change and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. Exile Teferi's Protection. Flawless Maneuver, 3 mana instant. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. The one and only OG counterspell, 2 blue, instant, counter target spell. Fierce Guardianship, 3 mana instant. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. Dovin's Veto, 2 mana instant. This spell can't be countered. Counter target non-creature spell. You want to win more? You get it. For your giant army of soldiers, Jetmir Nexus of Rebels is great. 4 mana 5/4, and with all of his Anthem effects, the more creatures you have, the harder the swing gets. Narset Enlightened Exile, 4 mana 3/4. Creatures you control have prowess. Whenever Narset Enlightened Exile attacks, exile target non-creature non-land card with mana value less than Narset's power from a graveyard and copy it. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Akroma's Will, 4 mana instant. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. Or, creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. Titanic Ultimatum. 7 mana sorcery. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +5/+5 and gain first strike, lifelink, and trample. Another nice Anthem enchantment, Kafar's Crusade, 5 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I think synergize very well with Aragorn the Uniter. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments below, or if you want to add some more cards to this list, let me know which legendary creature I shall feature next, and then I would say see you in the next video. Goodbye guys!